Oh, hell of beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we back for another edition of Big Beard Business. In today's video, I'm hitting you up with a subscriber's choice video. I got a message on Snapchat like, yo B, can you look out for me on this video? And I said, you know what, Doug? I got you. And today's video is going to be the most complimented fall fragrances of all time within my collection. Now today's video specifically features designer fragrances. I try to keep these price points in a manageable position, but also fragrances that will do well for you. Now in order for this video to really work for me, I had to choose fragrances that I have real world experience with on a consistent basis. Now some of these fragrances, as you will notice, are not specifically new fragrances, as things have changed this year, and these fragrances that you'll see here are fragrances that have done well for me over the years. So without any further ado, and in no particular order, we'll hop into today's list. Now I usually don't do this, but I felt that we needed this video to have a honorable mention. This fragrance has been discontinued from my understanding. If it's not discontinued, it's extremely difficult to find, but I think if you do have this one in your collection, you can attest to this. And if you don't have it, if you had the opportunity, I would urge you to pick it up. This fragrance comes from Prada, and this one is Prada Rossa Extreme. Now I've utilized this fragrance for a number of years, and I've been able to really get a ton of compliments and feedback with this thing. If you're looking for a fragrance to really perform for you in the cooler weather, this one is definitely one that can work. This is the spicy oriental fragrance that has this kick of freshness along with it as well. And the projection and longevity on this thing has been amazing for me. The compliment factor is huge here with this one, which is one of the reasons why I was really disappointed and confused of why they got rid of this fragrance. But I probably need a backup bottle. I'm more than halfway done with this thing, and it's one that I've utilized for a number of occasions, whether it was looking for compliments in the fall or also looking for a rainy day fragrance that I could wear. Rain down on me, I can rock this thing and still get compliments, and that's one of the things that I enjoy about fragrances, and one of the things that I enjoy about this one, Prada Rossa Extreme. Now this next fragrance is probably the newest release on this list here, but it's not super new. It's been around for at least a year or so, if not longer. And this one comes from Paco Rabanne, and this one is Paco Rabanne 1 Million Lucky. Now 1 Million in itself has done amazing over the years, and the flankers in themselves have done well as well, whether it was 1 Million Privé or any of the other ones that are out there. But this one here, 1 Million Lucky, has been a standout fragrance for me. This one is captivating. It has some cool notes in this thing and really performs in that cooler weather. This fragrance has some hazelnuts, some green plum. It's seductive, it's inviting and enticing. One of the fragrances that I often recommend for those close encounter situations, and also for this cooler weather that you're going to experience in the fall and or winter. If you're looking for a compliment magnet in a designer realm that's not going to run you a ton of money, this is one of the ones that you can get your nose on and potentially purchase for your quest of smelling great and garnering compliments. Paco Rabanne 1 Million Lucky. Next up, we have a fragrance on this list that I enjoy the entire line of, but this fragrance here is really one of the ones that add to that compliment factor, especially in the fall. This is one of the ones that can work for you for date night as well, but this is not what this one is about. This fragrance is from Bvlgari, and this one is Bvlgari Man In Black. Now this is one with the black bottle with the rose gold writing. Don't get it confused with the other Bvlgari Man, which is in the black bottle with the silver writing on it, because it's not the same. This one is this darker, more seductive, oriental type of vibe fragrance that really garners compliments. I did a full review on this fragrance a long time ago when I was first entering into this YouTube space, because this is one of the fragrances that just worked for me. This one is spicy. You have this leather, iris, tuberose type of vibe to it, and it's accord. It has some rum in this thing. It's not a natural rum, but it has some rum in here. And for what you're getting from a designer fragrance, Bvlgari really sets the bar in terms of that seductive, spicy, oriental vibe. So Bvlgari Man In Black is a definite bona fide compliment getter when it comes down to fall designer scents. Next up, we have a fragrance that I featured early on in my channel as well in terms of most complimented fragrances from a particular house. This one comes from Mugler, and this one is Mugler's Pure Havane. Now, Pure Havane is a flanker of the original release of Amen or Angel Man, and that fragrance did extremely well, and a lot of the flankers of that lineup, or that fragrance in particular, did well. And this one here has been a standout from the line and widely respected as a great fall fragrance from a designer realm, and it also garners you compliments. When in this fragrance here, you get something that is cozy, it's warm, it has this addictive vibe, and then you also get some tobaccos in this one as well. Now again, this one's not like a super all natural tobacco, but it definitely does work. This is some good juice inside of this bottle. Nice fragrance. Oh man, yeah. This one here is a winner for sure. Pure Havane is one of the ones you can spray on. This one's going to stick on you. At least this one has worked for me. Now I know some people may talk about reformulations, etc. I can only talk about the fragrance that I have here, which I've had for well over 6 years or so, and this thing has just worked for me. So Pure Havane from the house of Mugler is definitely a bona fide compliment getter for fall. Fourth fragrance we're discussing on this official list is a fragrance that has grown to be a bit legendary, and this one sparked from a legendary fragrance in itself, and this fragrance is a flanker of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Malt, and this one is Ultra Malt. Now Ultra Malt is the Playboy fragrance of this house, and this is one that you have likely smelled. You probably smelled the original a ton, and then also this one as well. This one was a clubbing banger, and this fragrance is sweet, it's seductive, and it's kind of loud and definitely in your face. That's one of the things that I enjoy about this fragrance, is that it had that power, it projected, it performed, and to go along with it, it smelled great. If you remember my original review when I talked about this fragrance, I first smelled this one in store, I was sick and I was hooked. I came back to this fragrance after I got finished being sick. I'm like, yep, it smells as great as I thought it was, and I had to have it within the collection. I'm not sure how many bottles I've had of this one over the years, but it's just a phenomenal scent. You have some lavender, you have some vanilla in this thing. It projects, it performs, it works, and it's ultra, yes, ultra malt. Now I know I just talked about the last fragrance being a legend, which is true, and it's also true that legends never die. And although they've recently released multiple flankers of this fragrance, well, not specifically this one, but new flankers within this lineup, this fragrance still stands out as a top-notch scent that you can feel confident in wearing despite its age. This fragrance comes from the house of Viktor and Rolf, and this one is Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Extreme. Now Spicebomb Extreme is an eau de parfum, which is an EDP and a more amped up, more fiery reinterpretation of the original scent. You have some sensual cumin in this fragrance. You also have some cinnamon in here, and this fragrance just really works. If you're a fan of the Spicebomb DNA, then you are going to love Spicebomb Extreme. This one again is that eau de parfum version, that more amped up, more intense take on the original, and more amped up, more intense means more compliments as it comes to this thing. Spicebomb Extreme has strength, it has power, it has luxury feeling. This one is a masculine scent for sure, and in my personal opinion, for sure, this definitely is, and one that works. Spicebomb Extreme from the house of Viktor and Rolf. Now this next fragrance has been a star player for many years, but because of reformulations, the hype has kind of died down on this thing, and I won't really say hype, it's just that people aren't searching for it as much as they used to, although this fragrance really does still work, and if you reapply it, you'll be good to go if you experience performance issues. This one comes from YSL, and this one is YSL Nuit De L'homme. Now this fragrance is a legendary scent in itself, and it's been around for years upon years. We saw the original really take market as that apple and this warm, cozy scent. And they said, oh, how can we outdo ourselves and release this thing here? This one was really made for the night. This one is sophistication. This one is bold. This one is mysterious. This was an sensual. And all of those things wrapped up together came up to a fragrance that you can utilize for date night, so close encounter situations. And you can also wear this one in the office and feel like you were sophisticated and gentlemanly. This fragrance is one that I've talked about over the years, not so much recently as I have in the past, but it doesn't need me to talk about it. This thing is probably one that's in your collection, whether if you're a newbie or one of the ones that you've had as a staple if you are a pro or a vet at this game here. Really solid scent, one of the staple pieces that a lot of people will go out and pick up just to say that they have it. Nuit De L'homme from the house of YSL. Now we have 4 fragrances left on this list, and this next one is one I won't spend a ton of time on because if you're here stateside in the US, it becomes a little bit more hard to find, a little bit more difficult to find. But this fragrance, from every time I mention it in the comments, is someone that says this fragrance is super easy to find. I just haven't been able to find it here recently. I only saw it in one store ever, which was at Macy's down in Boca Raton, Florida. This fragrance comes from the house of Nejma, and this one is Nejma No7, a part of their oud line. Now there's a great story that goes along with this fragrance, and although this one is a part of their oud collection, the oud series, there's not really much oud in this scent. What I do get is some coconut, and in my opinion, in terms of that sweetness here, although it's not exactly the same, I do feel like this one is a more upscale type of take on something that you would find on this one here, which is Ultra Malt. I feel like this fragrance here, it has been a standout staple for me. It gets tons of compliments. It's just one that is not one that you'll see in a lot of people's collection. And I know that early on when I talked about this fragrance, this one did sell out. I saw that these were available at Macy's, and you know, there weren't, I don't think there were many people talking about it, but a lot of you hit me up saying, hey B, I picked this one up upon your recommendation, and this thing just really works. There are a lot of other ones out there within this lineup, and there's also a different collection that goes along with it. But the one that I'm going to tell you to try out, you can get your nose on it, is Nejma No7 from their oud collection. Again, this is definitely going to work for you in the fall as it comes down to compliments. Good staying power, good longevity, good projection on that thing, and it's one that if I could get another bottle of it for a good price, I definitely would. Nejma No7 from the house of, well, Nejma. And speaking of getting another bottle of a fragrance, I think that this fragrance is worthy of having 2 or 3 within the collection, just in case anything happened to it. This one comes from Maison Margiela, and this one is By the Fireplace. Now, By the Fireplace is a unisex fragrance, which is marketed as such, but with this one here, this one is definitely warm, it's cozy, it's inviting, and it really pleases everyone within the household. If you're looking for a fragrance that has this uniqueness to it, because it's not like your everyday run-of-the-mill fragrance, then this is definitely one that you can try out. The description here is burning wood and chestnut, and with that, that's definitely what you're going to get here. I think one of the funniest messages I got from a guy was like, hey man, I don't like burning wood, but I picked this fragrance up and it's nothing but burning wood and chestnut. That's exactly what it says it smells like. So that's what you should pick up, my guy. This fragrance is definitely going to be one that's going to be cozy. I find it to be inviting. If you go to any forum, in most cases, you're going to find people who talk about they really enjoy this scent. This one is supposed to symbolize you being around a fireplace, hence the name. Part of the replica series where they really try to recreate emotions and feelings of specific instances in time, and they definitely did that with this fragrance in my personal opinion. One that I gave a 10 out of 10. That's just how I feel about this fragrance. You may feel differently, but a lot of people out there agree with me as a standout scent. Longevity, projection, performance, compliment factor, all there with this scent. By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela. Now, Tom Ford is the creator of this next fragrance, and if you've been to any major department store looking for fragrances, chances are you found this one. This one comes from Tom Ford, obviously, and this one is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. Now, Tom Ford Noir Extreme is often going to be found in the men's section, as this one is marketed as a men's fragrance. Now, I do know that there are women out there who rock this fragrance because they can. Tom Ford, in my opinion, is one of the best when it comes down to really creating these fragrances that are seductive. And I know he's not the actual, he's not in the lab making these things, but it's kind of like Diddy is, I believe, right? You put these things together, creating your nose, you know best. And in terms of making fragrances that are seductive, sensual, have that je ne sais quoi about them, I believe that he really does a great job at that. To me, this one is this oriental fougere fragrance that has a hint of spice, a hint of sweetness, so it's sugar, spice, and everything nice. As it comes down to compliments, this one's definitely going to work for you. Think about close encounter situations, cool weather, if you want to spray this thing on and have that person be drawn into you a bit more, whether you're walking somewhere, you're holding, you're hugging, etc. This is going to make that experience that much better and that much more enjoyable and memorable. All in all, Noir Extreme is this intense but comforting fragrance that really just gets the job done. You have some spices here, you have some woody nuances, there's some neroli in here that plays the background, provides a little bit more freshness to this fragrance. Nutmeg adds to that spicy component here, and again, adds to that seductiveness of this scent. Tom Ford Noir Extreme, from the master of seduction, Tom Ford himself. This thing here is a go. Now, the final fragrance on today's list, again, this is in no particular order, but it's from a company that we already talked about and a flanker. This one is one that was also on my most complimented list from this particular house. This one also comes from Mugler, and this one is Mugler's Pure Malt. Now, Pure Malt to me is this really enjoyable scent. If you know anything about the line, I would say, personally, in my own opinion, this is one of the better fragrance releases from the entire Amen series, and they do have a few bangers within them, if I have to say so myself. To me, Pure Malt is spicy, it's woody, it's exotic, and it also has this underlying tone of seductiveness along with this in this fragrance. If you're looking for a fragrance in terms of that compliment factor, this has it. If you're looking for a fragrance that has this smooth component to it, this has it. If you're looking for that underlying woodiness, this has it. That vanilla is in this thing. You have this boozy type of feel and quality to it, which is rare as in terms of a lot of these mainstream designer scents. So if we're looking at when this one was released, this one also had this totally different feel and kind of changed the way things were done just a bit. Sophisticated, fruity, fresh, woody, inviting, all of those things are mainstays in this scent. And you also get that signature Amen DNA, which is going to be rich in patchouli. This one has this warmth to it that kind of works, it works extremely well in the cooler weather. So I think it's one that you'll be happy with, and the price point on this thing isn't bad at all, even in today's gray market world. So Pure Malt from the house of Terry Mugler kind of completes today's list of fragrances that have been most complimented for me over the years of all time. Okay, now again, I don't have a lot of the newer fragrances in here because time kind of goes along with the ability for you to be most complimented of all time. And these are fragrances that are designers in the fall component. If you'd like to see the niche version, I would be more than happy to knock that out for you. But again, this was a subscriber's choice video. Hopefully this video helped you guys out just a tad bit, especially now that we are in fall. As always, I'm your boy, Big Beard. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are back again. We need more friends to join this channel and rock out with your boy. But before you go though, it will be a compliment to me if you hit the goddamn bell.